Love is like air. We can't see it, but boy, don't we know when it's absent. When you have it, and then you don't. When you're brokenhearted. When your love levels tank. Now, I believe that love is like blood. You can only lose so much until you die. But it turns out 90% of all the people on the planet are going to do a face plant right into heartbreak at least one time in their life. There's emotional betrayal. There's garden variety breakup. There's unrequited love. I don't even like to say that word, unrequited. It makes me want to vomit. Have you ever loved someone and they don't love you back? That is some kind of horrible. There's divorce. I did that one. I don't recommend it. And then there's the worst one, when your person passes away. That is tragic. It's all bad. We're shattered. We're lost. We're confused. We're anxious. Maybe even a little pissed off. We fear our futures and we act inelegantly. Well, some of us do. We send texts and make phone calls way past late. I think we all know who we are, right? Well, I'm here to tell you, 10 years ago, I did a massive header into heartbreak. And this is what it looked like. I want you to all get a really good look at that because that is an actual picture of me. I guess I am just that kind of strange. One day I'm having like a bad crying jack and I was like, yeah, let's take a picture of that. We might need that at some point in life. But I have good news. After a while, I hacked heartbreak. I found the key that unlocked the door to the house of heartbreak. And that's what I'm here to share with you today if you ever need that key. So I just want to put a pin in this for a second and I want to jump around a bit. Okay, so who in here, by a show of raise of hands, is in love right now? I knew we'd have a bunch of winners in the room. Don't you feel like you're a winner when you're in love? Don't you feel like you won the Super Bowl of life when you're in love? I mean, people throw us parties, right? When we're in love, and strangers send us champagne from across the room, just so they can get on the love train. I felt like such a winner when I was in love. I felt like I hit the mega super lotto of life. And then when my love went away, it was like the lottery people came to my house. Miss, you have to give that ticket back. I was like, what? I felt like such a loser. So, I'm a doer. I thought I am going to find love again. And after a while, I consulted with one of my girlfriends, and she said, to get over a man, you have to get under. Oh, so I'm not the only one that tried that. Okay. Did you get under the right one? Yeah, I didn't either. So then I decided I'm going to go online, do some online dating like the rest of us. And I had some really, really great opportunities with some really great men holding really big fish. I gotta look at a guy here. Where's all the guys in? What's with the fish pics, guys? I mean, why do you show us your fish pics? I mean, do we want to see their fish pics? We don't want to see their fish pics. Then I thought, I'm a pretty good manifester. I'm going to manifest love again. I'm going to make Find Love Again my password on all of my devices. I'm going to be typing it in and saying it all day long and typing it in and saying it all day long. That didn't work either. I had a man over for dinner, and as I was getting something ready in the kitchen, he called out from the living room, hey, Rob, want to watch Netflix? I was like, oh, yeah, sure, babe. What's your password? Oh, my God. I was so embarrassed. Now, I know Brene Brown. Y'all know Brene Brown, right? She'd be like, oh, that Robyn, man, she's so vulnerable. I was shellacked in shame. He did say he thought it was cute, but I doubt that he thought that because I never saw him again. But I did stay on the manifesting train because I really am good at manifesting. So I took this workshop called Manifest What You Want Through Lucid Dreaming. Does everybody know what lucid dreaming is? It's when you're dreaming and you know you're dreaming. Okay, so you know you're dreaming, and what happens when you know you're dreaming? You wake yourself up because you get so excited, right? So the idea is, if you can get into your dream, know what you want to dream about. You should all be taking notes because this does work. Yeah, know what you want to dream about. Then you can get into your dream, remember your dream, and you can puppeteer your dream any which way you want it to go. Everything is possible when you're dreaming. Then you can wake up, remember your dream, and you can recreate it in your waking world. That's what you're supposed to do. So this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get into bed and you say, I can remember my dreams. I want to remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. And then you say what you want to dream about. I want to find love again. I want to fall in love. Then I go to sleep. No dreaming. I wake up, I try it again. I can, I want, I will remember my dreams. I want to find love again. I want to fall in love again. And I'm dreaming. And I know I'm dreaming. And I am wrapped up in the most passionate kiss of all time with my former husband. And I pull the emergency brake on the dream. Loser! That is not who I want to be dreaming about. I was so mad. So I thought, I'm going to try this one more time. I can, I want, I will remember my dreams. I want to fall in love with someone new. And I go to sleep, and I'm dreaming. And I know I'm dreaming. And I am in the Caribbean, in a storm, at night, on a sailboat, and I don't know how to sail. And I'm just about to crash my sailboat into some multi-million-dollar situations when a man, he dives in the water, he gets on my boat, he lashes my sails, and he pulls us in, and we're safe. And guess what? We fall in love. And we have a lifelong love affair. And you are never going to believe who it was. It was Howard Stern. Howard, I don't understand. Howard, I mean, I love you, but I don't like you. You're kind of a jerk, but I love you. I'm so confused. He's like, oh, baby. The man, my show is just a show. The man that you have fallen in love with, that's the real man. And I said, okay. Howard. And then I woke up and I thought, what the hell? Howard Stern, let me tell you, is the least likeliest person I would ever fall in love with. And then I thought, oh, maybe that's a clue. Maybe I'll fall in love with the least likeliest person I'd ever, think about. So finding love again was not working in my life. I thought, how can I get back on some sort of winning team, minus the love? How can I feel good about myself again? And how can I get other people to be like, yeah, Robyn's a winner. Let's throw her a party. Yeah. And I thought maybe I should gain a bunch of weight, lose a bunch of weight. People are like, oh my God, that girl is awesome. Throw her a party. Maybe I would start smoking, then quit. People love quitters. Except when your love gets quit. I mean, don't get me wrong. The people that throw us the parties, they're there for us, right? When we're heartbroken, they rub our heads. They sing the sad songs with us. But after the 87th phone call, they've got the phone way out here. And no one really tells us about the risks of falling in love, except my dad. About to walk down the aisle on my wedding day, I take his arm, he leans in, and I think he's going to say something really sweet. And he says, Robyn, we're walking now. Robyn, if this doesn't work out, I want the silver back. What? Dad? I'm about to get married in about 60 seconds here. He's like, yeah, I know. Just for the record. I'm like, just for the record, you beautiful people, all in all, my marriage lasted 35 years, and I never did give that silver back. And I'm here to tell you today that you can get your grit and your grace and your love factory setting back, because hemorrhaging out love, being heartbroken, that's not what you were born for. You were built for love. That is your destiny. And I think if we're brave, we can allow heartbreak to be the start of something new. And that reminds me of something I heard. And I walked in to have my hair done yesterday, and I didn't know where I had seen this. And I went, oh my God, I saw it here. Marilyn Monroe said, some things have to fall apart so other things can come together. And I like it. It's simple, it's visual, and it's easy to understand, and it's positive thinking. Then I was geeking out on YouTube like I normally do, only a couple weeks ago. And I found this guy named Dan Martell. Now, Dan says in the statement, everyone, but I'm not sure it's everyone, because everyone's a lot of people, right? But he says, everyone's purpose sits right next door to the worst thing that's ever happened to them. I don't know, does that need a moment? I just, that fit on me. I don't know if that fits for you. Because somehow, through my brokenheartedness, I was able to survive and then start to thrive when I found my why, when I didn't know how, and I ended up right at the door of my purpose. So now I think it's time to jump around and now for me to tell you my story. So I just want to remind you, because I know you want to see it again, 10 years ago, I did not look good, and I was not brave. I was freaked out when I went to go see my marriage family counselor with my former husband. Now this guy, side note, looked exactly like, you guys know that guy Tater Salad? Ron White, the stand-up comedian? Oh, yeah, that guy. He looked exactly like Ron White. You know, he's got the scotch, smokes a cigar. He said, well, Robyn, your husband, he wants to take marriage vacation. I was like, what the hell is that, Ron? I don't want to go on vacation. Sounds like a bad idea. He's like, well, you're going. I said, I don't want to go. Kind of sounds like ice skating with a knife. I think that sounds just like Ron White, but you may not. I said, Ron, I want the staycation. And then my husband added to the end of that therapy session, Robyn, you know, we've had a good long run. And I said, what? Like Cats on Broadway? And then the vacation started right away. Like a couple weeks later, I came home to his empty closet. And I have seen a lot of empty closets in my lifetime because I've watched a lot of movies. I'm a rom-com, chick flick, romance movie fanatic, but I have never seen one in real life. And at first I thought, am I on Candy Camera? Am I being punked or skunked? Now, I like to make light of certain situations, but I assure you nothing was funny about this moment. I'm not sure I stayed standing. I might have been on the floor. But I had that moment where I said, oh my God, this is what it feels like to be left. And it was at that exact moment, all the love, it drained right out of my body and right out the front door. The door slammed, and I was locked inside that house of heartbreak. It was my black swan. Have you had a black swan moment in your life? It's an event you do not expect. You can't predict it. And when it happens, the fallout is catastrophic. There is the kind of before moment, and then there is after. Now, don't raise your hand for this one. But just so I'm not alone in the room, if you have done this, just give me like a slow blink or a squinty eye or a face or shoulders or something. Have you ever begged anyone? Not God, a person. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Well, I scrambled for my phone and I begged him, please come back, please don't do this, please. I am begging you, I I am begging you, please don't do this. Please come home. He was very matter-of-fact about it. He said he was not coming back. And 5 days later was our 33rd wedding anniversary. So I got my act together in the morning, and I called him the morning of our anniversary. And I said, hi, I know that we're not going to spend our 33rd wedding anniversary together, but do you think that you could give to me, like as a gift, your monogamy while you're gone on your vacation? And he said, nope. And I wasn't really with the program yet. I really did not know what was going on. I was a bit in denial. So here's a pro tip heartbreak hack for you. So when drinking, there needs to be a breathalyzer on all of your devices. If you're over the limit, all ability to post, tweet, Skype, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Insta, anything, it gets shut down. And don't use your video. No video. Don't use your phone. Don't go old school, no calling. Because if you don't listen to me, you too could have a completely naked, X-rated, hustler-style video floating around in space like me. I was so drunk and so sad, and why aren't you here with me? You want me, you love me, you want me, you want me, you love me, you love me, you want me, you want me. And that is not even the most pathetic part. I sent it to him. And you know those videos that are really, 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 really long and don't send? Not this one. That one sent. All 11 minutes of it. Thanks, universe! And I started, first I gotta tell you what he said. He called me. I bet you can't wait to hear what he said. He said, you look pretty. I did not look pretty, okay? And I started praying to baby Jesus, teenage Jesus, midlife Jesus, and his father to never, ever see it again. And I do check the cloud periodically. Okay, it's not up there, okay? Are we good? I was clearly falling apart. I was really losing it. I was out in public, you all saw me. But when I went home, all I was doing was crying. So here's another tip, heartbreak hack for you. When crying, set a timer, 20 minutes at a time. There are 1,440 minutes in a day, so you do have 72 20-minute periods for crying. But in one of those crying periods, go look in the mirror. Here it comes again, because it'll make you stop immediately, because it's awful looking! I think we're going to retire that picture, Sean. I think we're done. A friend of mine's mother called me all the way from Russia. They're Russian. And she said, oh, Robyn, Anna tells me you have heartbreak. Oh, you will die, dead, kaput, your heart dead, die, kaput. Like, hello, what? Can you? But you do kind of hear it in kind of conversation. Oh, she died. From a broken heart, we think, oh, you're never gonna believe this, he died from a broken heart. There's The Notebook, the movie. Actually, I just found out recently that that is based on a true story. And I actually think that my own little sweet mother died from a broken heart. So I had to look it up. I consulted with Dr. Google. Psychological stress causes sudden weakness in the heart muscle. It can be caused by sudden shock or acute anxiety. Doctors call it stress-induced cardiomyopathy. And your heart can weaken, you can die. And that's when I woke up, people. I was like, oh no, I am not gonna die, not from that. My story has a happy ending. But you know when you're in a story with someone, we're all in stories with people, right? Stories, they combine and twine to make one story. And then when someone spins off and starts writing their own story, you don't have to go follow them and play a role in their new story. I'm not playing that heartbreak role anymore. And I decided I have always loved happy endings. I raised myself on a steady diet of rom-coms, chick flicks, and romance movies. I used these fantasies to craft the life that I wanted to live. And it worked. But you know, my life had the anatomy of a real-life rom-com until it didn't. We didn't live happily ever after, but my husband was right. We had a good long run, way longer than cats. They only lasted 18. I love these movies. Don't you love rom-coms? Because they always end happily. You know what you call a rom-com without a happy ending? Who knows? A really crappy movie. Take When Harry Met Sally, for instance. When Harry finally stops being stupid, and he realizes he wants to spend the rest of his life with Sally, he wants the rest of his life to start right away, and he starts running down the street on New Year's Eve, and he gets hit by a bus and dies. It doesn't go that way, right? It doesn't go that way. But I think we should all ask ourselves, what if it did? What would Sally have done? I mean, she's nodding. She's like, yeah, it's Sally, right? That girl would rise and shine, right? She'd find love again. What if the American president had never sent 455 to the floor and Sidney Ellen Wade's car hadn't just steered itself back through DuPont Circle back to her boyfriend at the White House? Do you think that she would find love again? That's a dumb question. She's a net frickin' betting. Of course she would find love again. What if Iris and Amanda hadn't swapped houses in the holiday? Do you think those brilliant, smart women would find love again? I think they all would. And then ultimate of ultimates, what if the captain in The Sound of Music had 86'd Fräulein Maria and married the Baroness instead? No. Would Maria find love again? Absolutely. She had her main man, Jesus, waiting for her down at the Abbey. So you know what I did? I boosted myself with the confidence of these fictional characters. I did. And I added one more from another one of my favorite movies, Pulp Fiction. You know, the fixer, Harvey Keitel. He gets shit done. I have always been a fixer in my life. I fix stuff. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to stop waiting for someone to save me. I'm going to stop waiting for the story to change on its own. I stopped in to see a psychic, and she said, he's definitely not coming back, and I definitely gave her the double barrel right under the table. But I knew she was right. I felt it in my gut. Went home, set the timer, cried for 20 minutes. And that's when I heard Marilyn Monroe's voice in my head. Some things have to fall apart so other things can come together. Which brings me to a story about Nick Wallenda, of all people, the tightrope walker, hometown hero in Sarasota. He was gearing up to walk over the Grand Canyon, but he was talking in this interview about his walk over Niagara Falls. Now, he was walking from the American side to the Canadian side, and the Canadians told him to bring his passport. So he stuck it in his back pocket. And when he got to the other side, the officials asked him what all officials ask us when we enter their country. What's the nature of your visit? And he said, I live my life to inspire people. And I thought, this guy is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, there's got to be an easier way. Come on, Nick. And then he added that if you try hard enough and you work hard enough, the impossible is possible. And I mean, you like that statement, right? I mean, easy to agree with. But Nick Wallenda, wow. So I decided to brave it. Did anybody else watch that live television of him walking over? I had no interest in watching this guy fall to his death, but I was compelled. I was really compelled to watch him. Then the moment he stepped onto the line, he's got that big pole that weights him down. He takes one foot out. He's like, baby Jesus, teenage Jesus, midlife Jesus, and Father, steady the wind. Jesus, steady the wind. Father, steady the wind. Jesus, Father, Jesus. And I said, stop praying to Jesus. Because don't get me wrong, Jesus is my main man. But if you fall right now, it's a really, really bad day for Jesus. But you know what? He didn't fall. He didn't fall. He stepped right off. He did what he intended to do, which was to inspire people. And you know what? God stepped up and took his back. And I can feel that inspiration in my body. It still lives in my body right now. So much so, I was so impressed by him that I sent him a thank you note. And, I venture to guess that people that inspire other people have no idea how far their inspiration goes and to whom. I think that inspiration is like light. Once it's ignited, it just goes on forever. And I think we should all take a page from Nick Walenda's playbook. You got to get intentional about your life. And when you want to make a change, you got to get intentional. And whoever, whatever, God, the universe, source, whatever you believe in, will step up and grab your back. I believe you got to get intentional about changing any pain you have to power. You got to bust some myths, the ones you were told and the ones you've been telling yourself. You got to meet new people and do new things, and maybe even keep a journal. Journaling is really, really important. Turns out there's a professor of psychology down in the University of Texas, and he pioneered something called expressive writing. Turns out if you write for just 10 to 15 minutes a day, just 10 to 15 minutes, write what's going on in your head for just a few consecutive days, you can have measured improvement in your overall sense of well-being. Get this, not just psychologically, but physically. That was news to me. Physically, you can start to feel better. I was journaling a lot. It's also known that exercise, singing, dancing, laughing are all endorphin producing experiences. Now, a little side note on laughing. I did a little experiment or research on my own, and it turns out that love and laughter are partners. They're like married. The people that you love the most are the ones that make you laugh the hardest, and the ones that make you laugh the hardest are ones you love the most. That's why your best friends make you laugh so hard. Hang out with those people. So I decided to make an action plan. So my action plan is not going to look like your action plan, but I will just be your witness and tell you it takes massive action. So on Mondays, I thought, I'm going to get some exercise. Everybody loves CrossFit. I hate that shit. But you can't cry when you can't breathe, right? So tick that box. Tuesdays, I'm going to take an acting class. That falls under meet new people, do new things. Didn't want to be an actor. I needed somewhere to be on a Tuesday night, 7 to 10. Tick. Wednesday, I like to dance. I thought maybe a little hand in my hand, a little hand at my back, maybe a little spin around, maybe a little tip back. I missed being touched so much that one day, reading the paper in bed, I kissed my own arm. And I kissed it again. I was like, oh, I am kind of nice. The things that happen alone, I know. Thursdays, myth busting. Robyn, you're a horrible singer. When you used to sing to the kids, twinkle, twinkle, little hand came over my mouth. Oh, no, mommy. No, no sing, no sing. So I thought, I'm going to take like 18 lessons. Myth confirmed. Friday, more myth busting. Robyn, you're funny, but not like funny, haha. I thought, I wonder how I can learn how to be funny, haha. So I go and I take some stand-up comedy classes. And guess what? It is a recipe. So I stayed on this action plan for, I would say, a good while, more than a year. But then I really was feeling the change happen. I was starting to feel the metamorphosis, but I know I needed more change. And you all know when you need it, right? They say when you're sitting at your desk and you need change, walk around your desk. You need more? Walk around the room. Need some more? Walk around the house. Need more? Walk around town. I needed a lot more. So I sold my house, my car, and my business. I packed 2 suitcases, and I moved myself to New York City. I got myself an apartment on the Upper East Side of New York City, and I'd swing through those double doors like my very own version of that girl and Carrie Bradshaw, minus her shoe budget. I wandered, and I wondered, and I got absorbed in the city of New York. On the 8th day, I ended up on the 68th floor of the Chrysler Building. This is me hanging out the 68th floor, pointing at the Empire State Building. Clearly, I had 0 common sense and no fear of heights that day. The gentleman who leased the 67th and the 68th floor, he said, Robyn, how long have you lived in New York? I said, oh, 8 days. He said, oh, and you're at the top of the Chrysler Building? No one gets to the top of the Chrysler Building in 8 days. He said, I know people that lived in New York their whole life. They don't get to the top of the Chrysler Building. I was like, well, I don't know. I ended up on an episode of The Real Housewives of New York, just on accident. Let me tell you, I was not an actor and I was not a writer when I moved to New York City. I went there to go be anonymously alone amongst 8 million people. I just wanted to conduct what I call life experiments, just to, kind of see what would happen. I got pulled out of an audience at a Broadway show called, get this, Permission to Speak. Anybody see that? It's by Paul Mercurio. And his concept is, if we just share our stories with each other, there's less divisiveness and there's more understanding. He literally interviewed me for 10 whole minutes, so basically I started on Broadway. I got lost in the Bronx, because I think if you don't get lost in at least one New York City borough, you're not even really trying. I got on the wrong train, I got off the wrong bus, and ended up at Naked Beach in New Jersey, which I did not see coming. But I saw everything else from the comfort of my one-piece bathing suit and my big, dark glasses. And I could write a whole story on this day. That day actually changed my life. And I already love people. I love every one of you, and I love people. Now, at this point in my life, I'd only seen one person naked at a time. But when you see hundreds of people naked at a time, you realize how we're hiding underneath our clothes. Everybody is so beautiful. Everyone's so beautiful and so unique. It was really an epic day of my life. So probably, well, let's see. I really had felt like I had lost everything I ever wanted in my life. Like I was at zero level. And so I got really fearless, and I got really tenacious. I felt like Teflon. So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take stand-up comedy classes at the comic strip on 2nd Avenue. And I took some classes, and right before you go on, it's very dark in there, and the MC comes up and he goes, who are you? I've never seen you before. And I said, well, my name's Robyn Marin. He says, are you funny? Oh, yeah. I'm funny. He said, well, listen to me, Robyn. If you bomb and everybody bombs, you got to remember that you have 99.9% more balls than all the people on the planet, because you're at the comic strip on 2nd Avenue in New York City. So if you bomb, you walk out of here with your head held high. And I said, thank you. I just need a little cheerleading. They called my name. And as I told you, comedy is a recipe. And in my case, that day, it was a hamburger. Like this. There's a bun, then there's the meat, and there's the bun. I forgot all the meat in the middle. All the meat in the middle, and I walked right off that stage and right out the front door like I had just won an Academy Award for Best Train Wreck. And I actually had one of the most epic nights of my life in New York City, because I had some bragging rights. When you bomb at the comic strip, you got something to talk about at night. And then, really the most, I would say, miraculous thing that happened to me or that I made happen in New York was I was keeping a lot of journals. I was documenting everything. And I ended up writing a play called A Girl Far From Normal. It's an autobiographical story. And I'll just tell you a quick little story about how that happened. I was going to meetups. Everybody know meetup.com. You sign up for all these activities you want to go to. And the one that I went to was called monologuing. And they said, bring a monologue or we're going to give you one to read. So I took in a journal entry. And after I read it, or performed it, more like, I had some actresses come up to me and say, well, what is this piece from? And who are you? And could we have it for audition purposes? And I said, well, thank you, but, it's my journal, so probably no. And then couple weeks later, I went to another meetup. It was for writers, actors, directors, and producers. And I took the same journal entry, and they said the same thing. It's good. What are you doing with this work, Robyn? And I said, well, I'm going to write a movie someday. Just came right out of my mouth. And they said, well, okay, you're in New York. This is Broadway, baby. You should write a play first. And I said, okay. How do you do that? So I figured that out. And it actually debuted on off-Broadway 2 years ago tonight, blow my mind. And guess what? They threw me a party. And I want to do that scene for you now. Like all the rest of the newly enlightened people, my best friend Julie, former party animal fun, pot-smoking fun, good time loving, good time fun friend, had found religion in a gluten-free, no fun, wheat-free, no fun, meat-free, no fun, alcohol-free, no fun, cannabis-free, no fun, tobacco-free, no fun, sugar-free, no fun lifestyle. As much as I love her, and I missed her. Have you ever missed anyone so much that you miss who you are when you're not with them? I missed her like that. But I was not at all excited to hang out with her for a week, because when I get there, she's like, oh, Rob, we should go on a cleanse. And I go, oh, no, I don't cleanse. I'm clean. And all the people that cleanse are just trying to be fashionably anorexic. I can't cleanse. I love to eat food too much. I won't do it. And I'm not going to tell you about it, but I know someone in the room has done this cleanse. The maple syrup, the lemon juice, the cayenne, and there's one fourth delicious ingredient. Gotta have it. It's so important. Water! Yeah. It was miserable, but I did lose 7 pounds. And I'm taking her off the top of my besties list because friends don't let friends cleanse. Okay? Got that? But she says, oh, Robyn, you look amazing. Your skin is like cream, and aren't you all full of euphoria and full of clarity and full of new ideas, full of excitement? And I tell her, nope, I am not full of anything. I am tummy sucking and hungry, and I'm gonna need to eat pretty soon. She says, oh, Rob, when we eat again, it's gonna be like magic. So delicious, so perfect, so unbelievably good. I kind of roll my eyes at her. But she's super excited that she talked me into the cleanse, and she was going to take me as a treat to a Korean day spa. Has anybody been to one of these Korean day spas? Well, I'm here to tell you, in Koreatown, they go naked. But Julie and I have decided to wear our bikini bottoms, not go naked, because she is embarrassed about her C-section scar. Over years, it turns into like a little ledge, like a little shelf. I have one too, so I can talk like that. The ledge, you can like set a cup of coffee there, or like hang some laundry, or perch a bird maybe. But actually, what I'm most shy about is my half-hair plus. In the late 90s and the early 2000s, all the rage in women's pubic hair fashion is we had it lasered off. We had a Brazilian off. I can't grow any hair down there to save my sex life. I just have a couple of hairs growing in a few different directions. And then I don't want anybody to have a look at the lips. They just look like 2 dish rags hanging on a hook. Oh, God! Jeez, is it still there? How about now? What about now? God, Sean! Oh. When she said she wanted to wear the bikini, I was in. No one needs to see what's going on down there. And I was super, super excited to be at the spa. I was so tired, and I was so hungry. And we had about 20 minutes before our treatment. So I lay down and immediately I'm asleep. Ow! Ow! I open an eye, and a woman about as wide as she is tall, she's gesturing me to follow her into a wet room. And she just takes my robe. She doesn't ask for it, she just takes it. Lie down, face up, everything off. Lie down, face up. everything off. No towel. No blankie. Sunny side. Sunny side. She says, "You're skinny." "I'm starving, I'm cleansing, I'm fasting, I'm so hungry." She goes, "Well, you don't look good." "What? Lady?" She said, "Well, did you used to be pretty? Like not supermodel or anything, but you used to have something, right?" Yeah. And then immediately, she is throwing buckets and buckets of water at me. And I mean, she is chucking water at me. And I'm just about to head for the door. And then it's starting to feel kind of good. And so she's got these two big mitts on, and she starts exfoliating me. Like everywhere. 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 Except for the obvious. Everywhere. And I'm starting to think, I don't think this is supposed to feel this good. Is this really supposed to feel this good? And then more buckets of hot water and more buckets of hot water and more buckets of hot water. I'm practically submerged in water, and I start to relax a little bit. Like, yeah, this is what I needed. This is exactly what I needed. And I've forgotten about being hungry until I smell the yogurt. She's coming at me with two fistfuls of yogurt, and I open my mouth just hoping some birds off course. And I see it's coming out of a large can of Dannon. I go, "I've eaten weeks-old yogurt before. Oh, I'm sure it's fine." I saw some lands in there. Oh, God. It tastes like magic. It's so delicious. It's so perfect. It's so unbelievably good. And then she's massaging the yogurt all over me. Everywhere. She doesn't miss anything. It's in my hair. It's everywhere. And then more buckets of hot water and more buckets of hot water. And then she starts in with the honey. And I just open my mouth like a baby bird. And she just squirts some in there. And it tastes like magic. It's so delicious. It's so perfect. It's so unbelievably good. And then she starts smearing the honey everywhere. Everywhere. Breasts and all. Holy shit! This is the best experience of my life! And I'm a little confused at this point. I mean, maybe a lot. And then more buckets of hot water. And more buckets of hot water. And something was happening. I could feel something happening. And then she washed my hair. Like a mother washes her baby's hair. With so much love. And so much care. And all of a sudden, I really felt like I was in the arms of my mother again. And I felt that umbilical love that we have when we're born, that birthright of love. And then this lady, she starts in with a milk treatment. Milk. And she's rubbing my body everywhere with milk. Everywhere. Everywhere. And then she asks me to sit up. And she says, "Cup your hands." And she pours the milk into my hands. And she says, "Wash your face." Tasted like magic. It was so delicious. It was so perfect. It was so unbelievably good. And she didn't look at me like I was weird or strange. She looked at me like you do when someone you really love does some really weird shit. You forgive them. And as I was sitting there for a moment, I thought about my dream with Howard Stern. And I realized, in our dreams, we're absolutely every character in our dreams. We might call someone and go, hey, you were in my dream last night. Like they had anything to do with it. All of our dreams, the writer, the director, the editor, every little bit, every little detail is us. So kind of obvious to me only in that moment was the person that needed to fall in love with me, the person that fell in love with me was me. I am actually, in the end, the jerk that rescued myself. I am actually Howard Stern. And then she wrapped me in my robe, this time very gently and lovingly. And she leaned in and she said, it's okay. Everybody's hungry. I understand. You're pretty again. Oh. Thank you.